Today in the show, we're going to be continuing the Lezhin Recap. So before I get into the recap, I just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to those of you who watched the previous part. I am going to be sticking with this format as most of you said that you didn't mind this format. So let's get into the recap. So we're going to start with Darkhaven once again. So we actually start this out with a flashback. Now it turns out that Connor used to be badly bullied and beaten up in school because he was Asian. And one day he was being beaten up and Simon pulls the fire alarm to try and save Connor, so everyone will have to get out the way. And after this, the two of them discover that they have a lot of similar music tastes and they become good friends. Simon would even take Connor to his secret hiding place, which was like this old abandoned church, and Simon would teach Connor how to play guitar, and this is how they formed Darkhaven. At first they would just do odd jobs like birthday parties, but eventually they got the chance to perform at their school on Halloween. But because they've got the chance to do a performance at school, they've got attention of a lot of the older kids, and they also got the attention of their bullies. I really just want to stress how close these two boys were. Like, they were so close that when Simon started going over Connor's house more than usual, Connor's mother instantly knew that something must be wrong at home with Simon. Anyway, when the performance night finally comes, the two boys are setting up, then these kids come up to them and say, hey, the teacher wants to talk to you in the prop closet. So the two boys go into the prop closet just to have the bullies shut and lock the door, and they say they're going to put on the boys' masks so no one will know it's the bullies and ruin the two boys' performance. This causes Connor to break down because he feels like they wouldn't be in this situation if he wasn't born Asian. He's actually completely hating his own race. And Simon comforts him and tells him if it wasn't his race, it would be something else. Bullies are just people that find something that's different about someone and pick on that. There's no rhyme or reason for why they do what they do, but they're just fundamentally not good people. So they would have just found something that's wrong with him. Honestly, it's not worth thinking about their actions too much. Just know that they're bad people. Eventually they realize there's a window in the prop room, and outside this window there is a girl, so they call for help. The girl lets them out. The two boys are able to save their performance. And after this, the girl joins the band, the two boys become their school's official band, and Connor realizes he's falling in love with Simon, a boy. It's also around this time that it's revealed that a group of Connor's bullies actually want to target him to do a hate crime on him and upload it to the internet, so they'll be inducted to a gang that actively goes around killing foreign people and uploading their deaths to the internet. So the girl that joined the band is called Mona, and she's actually very well off, and she decks out the band with all new gear, and as a result, Simon has to teach her how to play keyboard. This causes Connor to become jealous and further become confused about his feelings, so he tries confiding in his mother about this. His mother is confused and thinks that he likes a girl rather than a boy. And then one night when the two boys are talking about money that they've earned so they can rent out a studio, the two boys part ways and Connor is hit round the head with a baseball bat. A group of men have kidnapped a black man and are having this black man beat up Connor. They're videoing and taking pictures of the whole thing so they can upload pictures to the internet, so they'll be inducted into this gang. Eventually they start rummaging through Connor's stuff and they find the money for the studio, so Connor snatches back this money. Realizing he's got nowhere to run, he throws himself off a balcony. And that's where we're going to be ending the Darkhaven recap. Now onto something a little bit more light-hearted, all about lust. So the mysterious stranger, whose name turns out to be Jahi, keeps turning up wherever Jiyeon and Soojin are. So Soojin has the idea to take Jiyeon back to his place, that way the two of them could have sexy sex. And there's no way that Jahi could randomly turn up. But then Soojin realizes this wouldn't be a good idea because his roommate would probably just walk in. But Soojin does take note of the fact that Jiyeon is spending a lot of time with Jahi, so he's like, hey, you're spending a lot of time with him, what's going on with that? And basically he reveals that he doesn't really know what's going on, and shortly after this Soojin asks, hey, does anyone know that the two of us are dating? And Jiyeon is honest and says, well, yeah, actually, my friend Jungmin knows. And Soojin actually interrupts him and says, of course Jungmin knows because she's your only friend. Which was a little bit cold. It was a little bit cold. He also confesses in borrowing boys' love books from Jungmin so he could learn how to sleep with a boy, which makes Soojin happy for reasons. So shortly after this, Soojin runs into Jahi once again, and Soojin just cuts straight to the chase and is like, so you know everything, don't you? And Jahi's like, yeah, yeah, I do. But before he can explain properly, Sujin's friend that hates Jahi turns up and he's like, the other day when I was round his house, it was full of, and then he gets cut off. So Sujin and Jahi go outside to talk. So here it's revealed that Jahi actually found out when Jiyeon and Jungmin were talking about their relationship in the study room. And the reason he keeps approaching the two of them actually has something to do with Sujin's friend, whose name is Kang. So to cut a very long story short, Jahi thinks that he finds Kang annoying when really he has a crush on Kang. And he was using Jiyeon and Sujin as a way to completely avoid Kang. After that, everything is settled, everything is fine, so Sujin spends the night at school working. Jiyeon eventually runs into him and sits down next to him and falls asleep next to him. And then when the two boys wake up, they decide that they're gonna rent a room somewhere together. But when they finally go to wherever they're gonna go to, guess who's renting a room right next door? Kang and Jahi. The two boys try doing the do, but they can't get into the mood because of all the noises that are coming from Kang and Jahi. So Sujin's like, right, that's it, I'm gonna walk in and see what they're doing, but he doesn't in the end. Sujin and Jiyeon want to keep it a secret that they spent a night together in a motel, but this doesn't last very long because eventually one of Sujin's friends come along and is like, hey, I saw 4 of you entering the motel together. What was that about? So now he has to awkwardly explain the reason that he was staying in the same motel but didn't go and tell his 2 other friends that he was in that motel. And that's where we're gonna end this recap. And now we're on to Dolphin Fairy. So this issue actually starts out with Mokwa thinking about his instructor, and he doesn't think that Rino is his boyfriend, but at the same time, there was something there. And as he's thinking about things, he falls asleep, and then when he wakes up, who should he get a call from? But his instructor. His instructor comes over, and after an hour of crying, it turns out he was beaten up by the woman that owns the sashimi place's husband, and he had to clean up the pool by himself because of Rino's actions. And then the 2 guys sleep together. It was really rushed and a very awkward sex scene. And then the next day, just before the swimming lesson, who should turn up but Rino, and Rino turns around and is like, you had sex with Changyang, didn't you? And then the instructor turns around and just so casually says, yes, I did, and I'm going to do it again. But there's like this nightmare fuel face. That is unacceptable. This was really cute, and then this pops up. And then that night they do have sashimi together. They talk about a few things, nothing too major plot-wise, and then they sleep together, and once again, it's really awkward. When they do fall asleep though, Changyang's phone rings, and who should be calling? But the sashimi lady that has a crush on him and clearly wants to cheat on her husband for her instructor. And that's where we're going to be ending Dolphin Fairy. There does seem to be a bit more of a tonality shift in all 3 of these. I like the tonality in Dark Haven. It's very serious. It talks about social issues. It means something. But then all about lust. It is still fun. It is very much melodrama, but I like how fun it is. And then Dolphin Fairy, in its first 3 or 4 chapters, it really did champion the emotions of the characters, and I really did appreciate that. In these few chapters, it's still good. It just wasn't what I started with reading, and I'm going to continue it naturally, but I just kind of prefer what it started with. And I have read on a little bit since making this video, and it does go back to what it started with, which I'm happy about. Okay, so now to enter the giveaway. What you have to do is follow Lezhin on Twitter, sign up for an account on Lezhin's website, and leave a comment down below letting me know which one of these is your favorite so far. And if you do all 3 of those things, you'll be able to win some points or coins that you can spend on Lezhin. There are so many things on Lezhin, it's not just Boys Love. I love doing Boys Love recaps because I've never been able to do it before on this channel, but there are so many things. Even if you're not particularly into Boys Love, there's action, adventure, comedy, so definitely even outside of this giveaway, do go and check it out. There is also a lot of free content on there, so if you don't want to bring yourself to pay for any content and you don't win this giveaway, don't worry, there is a lot of free content. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. So what do you think of the Lezhin recap so far? Make sure to enter the giveaway. Please let me know in the comments down below. Also don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe to all of my social links, and be sexy by checking out my Patreon. All of my patrons, very sexy people. 10 out of 10 people. 10s, 10s, 10s across the board.